Oh my God! Tobena, look! This clumsy girl has ruined my dress. Do you know how much this costs?
Chidera, what is wrong with you? Can't you do one simple thing right? You've been a burden since I got back, always complaining of back pain, always moving like a snail.
I am sorry, I just got dizzy. Dizzy or lazy? She has become so useless, Tobena. While you were abroad making us proud, she was here eating our food and doing nothing.
How can a lion give birth to a goat? Look at your brother, Tobena. He has the brain of a professor, but the pockets of a beggar. And look at you, Chida, you are content with selling fried yam by the roadside, while our family name rots in the dust.
Papa, I sell the yam so we can eat. I sell the yam so Tobena can buy the textbooks for his final year of medical school. Is that a crime? It is not enough! Tobena has received an admission for his master's in the United Kingdom, a full scholarship for tuition, but we need 3 million naira for his upkeep and flight. 3 million! Where will we get it? While you are here counting kobo from fried yam, your brother's future is dying.
Maybe I should just forget it, Mama. I will stay here and become a bricklayer. Let my brilliance waste away.
Never! If you truly love this family, you would find a way. A woman is a bridge. You are 24, unmarried, and bringing nothing to this house but the smell of palm oil. Find the money, Chidera. Or do not call me father again.
Why does love in this family flow one way? Why should I be the one to carry the family's burden?
Chidera felt a cold shiver. She looked at her brother. He didn't meet her eyes. She had spent her youth ensuring he lacked nothing. She had dropped out of school at 16 so he could attend a private secondary school. And now, she was being asked to perform a miracle. 2 weeks later, Chidera sat in a quiet, dim office on the edge of Lagos.
You understand the risk, young lady?
I understand. 3 million naira, that is all I need.
You are a perfect match for our client. 1 kidney is all we need. You have 2. You can live with 1. But once it is gone, there is no turning back. Yeah. You will tell your family you found a high-paying job as a housekeeper for a billionaire. You will stay in our facility for 6 weeks to recover.
The money will be paid in full to your father's account the moment the surgery is successful.
Chidera looked at the pen. She thought of Tobena's dreams. She thought of her father's pride. She thought of her mother's smile. She signed the paper. The surgery was a bright haze and the sharp sting of the needle. Everything faded quickly. When she woke up, her body felt weak. There was a deep, empty pain in her side, like a cold that would never leave. She lay still for a moment, trying to breathe through it. Then she reached for her phone with slow hands. Her fingers trembled as she turned it on. A new message was waiting. It was from her father. She stared at the screen, her heart beating faster than before. The money has arrived. Truly, you have finally shown you are my daughter. Tobena leaves next week. Do not bother coming home to say goodbye. Stay at your new job and earn more. We need to renovate the house before he returns as a great man. Chidera wept in the hospital bed, clutching the bandage on her side. She had sold a piece of her life to buy a ticket for a brother who did not even want to see her face. The village of Umuahia was in a festive mood. The Okoro compound had been transformed into a mini palace. Tobena had returned. He was no longer the skinny boy in faded shirts. He was Dr. Tobena Okoro. He had arrived in a convoy of black SUVs, accompanied by his fiancée, Vanessa. Chidera stood at the edge of the kitchen, her body thin and her gait slightly stooped. The years had not been kind. After the surgery, her health had been fragile. She couldn't do heavy work, and the billionaire job she lied about had long ended. She had returned home 3 years prior, only to be treated as a glorified housemaid by her parents.
Chidera, where is the chilled champagne?
Chidera hurried out carrying a tray. As she approached the VIP table, her foot caught on the rug. She stumbled, and a drink poured onto Vanessa's designer dress.
Oh my God! Tobena, look! This clumsy girl has ruined my dress. Do you know how much this costs?
Chidera, what is wrong with you? Can't you do one simple thing right? You've been a burden since I got back, always complaining of back pain, always moving like a snail.
I am sorry, I just got dizzy. Dizzy or lazy? She has become so useless, Tobena. While you were abroad making us proud, she was here eating our food and doing nothing. We don't even know where she got that money 7 years ago. Probably from something shameful she's too embarrassed to admit. Mama, please. Don't mama me. Look at your brother. He is a star. You are a shadow. Tobena, darling, don't let this local girl ruin your homecoming. Is this really your sister, Toby? She looks so haggard. It's embarrassing to have her around our guests. She looks like a beggar.
Papa, I think it's time we settle this. Vanessa and I are getting married next month. We are moving you and Mama to the city, but there is no space for Chidera. Her negative energy and her sickness will only bring us bad luck.
You are right, my son. Chidera, you have outstayed your welcome. You haven't contributed a kobo to this family in years. Pack your small bags.
Papa, please.
Go back to the city and find that billionaire you once worked for. You are no longer a daughter of this house.
Papa, you are disowning me after everything.
What everything? You sold some fried yam and gave me a few kobo for books? I have repaid you 10 times over with the prestige I brought to this name. Leave before I call the security to throw you out.
She walked to her small room at the back of the house. She took her small bag, but she forgot one thing. On her bedside table was a small, faded medical report she had hidden for 7 years. She didn't have the strength to take it. She just walked out into the rain, the ache in her side now spreading to her soul. The engagement party of Tobena and Vanessa was the turning point. Suddenly, a commotion started at the entrance. A young man, an intern from the hospital where Tobena worked, rushed in, looking pale.
Dr. Tobena, there's an emergency at the clinic. A woman was brought in, collapsed on the street, kidney failure. But that's not why I'm here.
I am on leave, boy. Take her to the ward.
Sir, we ran her details. She had a transplant 7 years ago. But she wasn't the recipient, she was the donor. And the donor records, they match a private file in your own father's name from 7 years ago.
What is he talking about? Tobena, what is he talking about?
It's a mistake.
A mistake? What do you mean?
A man in a wheelchair was wheeled into the hall. It was Chief Williams, the billionaire benefactor of the hospital. The man everyone knew had survived a mysterious organ failure years ago.
It is no mistake. I was looking for the girl who saved my life. The agency I used kept her identity secret, but I found the ledger. I found the name, Chidera Okoro.
Mazi Okoro and Lolo Adana, who were sitting in the front row, froze.
I paid 3 million naira for that kidney. I was told it was for a medical emergency for her brother. I thought I had helped a noble family, but I've been watching you, Tobena. I've seen how you treat the girl who literally gave a piece of her body so you could wear that suit you are standing in.
You, your sister, sold her kidney for you? And you told me she was just a lazy village girl?
I didn't know.
How could you not know?
I swear, Vanessa.
You knew! Tobena, you found this report in her room the day after you kicked her out, didn't you? You saw the scar on her side when she was cleaning your room. And you mocked her for being clumsy. You knew.
Lolo Adana let out a wailing cry, falling to the floor.
My daughter sold her body for us, and I called her a shadow?
Mazi Okoro stood up.
Where is she? Where is my daughter?
She is in the intensive care unit. Her remaining kidney is failing due to the stress and lack of medical care you could have provided with the millions you spent on this party. She is dying and she was calling for you.
Chidera laid in the hospital room, her eyes closed, her face peaceful. The door burst open. Tobena, his parents, and Vanessa rushed in.
Chidera, my daughter, I am sorry. Open your eyes. I am a wicked man.
Take my kidney, take mine. I am the one who should be on that bed.
Tobena stood at the foot of the bed, his great man persona shattered into a million pieces. He reached out to touch her hand, but a hand stopped him.
You have done enough.
I wanted you to be a lion. I didn't want you to feel the weight of my sacrifice.
I know, sister, I know.
Her monitor began to flatline. The long, continuous beep pierced the room.
Doctor, do something! Wait, stop! Oh my God!
Help us, please!
The doctors rushed in, pushing them out. For 3 hours, the family waited in the hallway. The surgeon came out, pulling off his mask. His face was grim.
She is stable for now, but she needs a transplant immediately.
A transplant?
Immediately.
Take mine.
Take mine too.
You are both too old. Your organs are not viable for her condition. There's only one person here who is a perfect match, a direct sibling.
Tobena looked at the doctor. He looked at the door to the ICU. He looked at Vanessa, who was looking at him with utter contempt.
I have a surgery scheduled in the UK next week. I have a career. You have a choice. You can be the great man you pretend to be, or you can be the man your sister died to create. If you don't save her, I will ensure every medical board in the world knows your name. You will never practice medicine again. You will be a beggar in the streets. She once walked for you.
Tobena looked at his hands, the hands that had performed surgeries on strangers, but refused to lift his own sister. The fear in his eyes was replaced by a crushing weight of reality.
Prepare the theater. Take my kidney.
In a small, neat bungalow near the village square, a woman sat on the porch, watching the sunset. She was glowing with health, her eyes bright and full of life. Chidera. Inside, Maziokoro was busy sweeping the floor, while Lolo Adana was in the kitchen, cooking a meal with a care she had never shown before. They were no longer lords. They were parents, serving the daughter they had almost lost. A man walked up the driveway. He was thin, moving with a slight limp, his face humbled by the scars of a major surgery and the loss of a glittering career. He was carrying a bag of yams. Tobena. He had lost his fiancée, his job in the city, and his prestige. He now worked as a local doctor in the village clinic, treating the poor for free.
If you ever lay your hands on me again, I'm going to make sure you are paralyzed for life.
Lola had learned to move quietly in her own home. Last week, Spencer grabbed her by the hair because her footsteps were too loud while he was on a business call. 2 months ago, he shoved her against the kitchen counter because dinner was ready 5 minutes late. Yesterday, he slapped her face twice because she forgot to pick up his dry cleaning. The house was large and beautiful, filled with expensive furniture and art that meant nothing to her. It was a prison dressed in silk curtains and marble floors. The fear lived in her body now. It sat in her chest when she woke up, followed her through breakfast, waited with her in the evenings. She had become an expert at reading Spencer's face, his tone, the way he walked into a room. These small signs told her what kind of day it would be. Her mother called on a Tuesday afternoon. Lola held the phone with steady hands and smiled, though her mother could not see her. "Everything is fine, Mama. Yes, Spencer is wonderful." "No, No problems at all. The lies came easily now, smooth as water. She had been telling them for 3 years. One day, Spencer came home angry. Lola did not know why, and she had learned not to ask. Asking questions made things worse. She served his dinner and kept her head down, but it was not enough. It was never enough. He stood up suddenly, his chair scraping against the floor. Lola's heart jumped. She knew what was coming. She had seen this build up 100 times before. His hand rose in the air, moving fast toward her face. But this time, something different happened. Her hand shot up and caught his wrist mid-air. Her grip was iron strong. Before Spencer could react, her leg swept out and connected with his shin, then his knee. He fell backward, crashing onto the expensive rug with a heavy thud. Spencer lay on the floor, staring up at his wife with wide, confused eyes. His mouth opened, but no words came out. Lola stood over him, breathing steady, her hands still raised. She did not look like Lola anymore. Spencer spent the next 3 days watching his wife like she was a stranger who had moved into his home. He kept his distance, studied her movements, tried to understand what had happened. At night, he slept on the far edge of the bed. During meals, he was careful with his words. The woman who had caught his hand mid-air and put him on the floor terrified him in ways he could not explain. Lola moved through the house with a confidence that did not belong to her. She met his eyes when she spoke. She did not flinch when he entered a room. Spencer's confusion grew each day, but underneath it lived something he had never felt in this house before: fear. However, something had happened. 2 weeks earlier, Luna had been in her apartment in Houston when her phone rang. The video call connected, and she saw her identical twin sister's face on the screen. Lola was smiling, but the smile was wrong. She held the phone at an odd angle, keeping half her face in shadow. Luna leaned closer to her screen. "Lola, let me see your face." Lola adjusted her position slightly, still hiding. In the background, Lola heard a man's voice rising in anger. It was Spencer's voice. The voice got louder, meaner. Lola tried to laugh it off, tried to say everything was fine. But Luna saw it, just for a second before Lola shifted the phone away. A dark bruise spreading across her sister's cheekbone. Luna's entire body hot with rage. This was not the first time. 5 years ago, the family had found out about Spencer's violence. There had been meetings, tears, promises. Spencer had begged for forgiveness, swore he had changed. Lola had defended him, asked everyone to give him another chance. The family had reluctantly agreed. It had all been lies. "I'm coming back to Nigeria," Luna said, her voice flat and final. Lola's face filled with panic. "No, Luna, please. Everything is fine. I can handle this myself. You don't need to." Luna ended the call. Within a few days, she had booked a flight. When Lola heard her sister had landed in Lagos, she rushed to their parents' house. She found Luna unpacking in her room, moving with the calm, controlled energy that Lola remembered from their childhood. Luna had always been the fighter. Lola had always been the one who kept peace. "Please don't go to my house," Lola begged. "Don't cause trouble. Luna, I love him." Luna stopped unpacking and looked at her sister. She told her sister she would handle it just once, that she only wanted to teach Spencer a lesson, and Lola refused. He was her husband and she loved him. But Luna pointed out that he was hurting her. The next day, Luna went to the house. She knew exactly how her sister behaved. Luna copied it all, made herself smaller, quieter. Spencer noticed nothing. To him, his wife had simply come home. Luna played the role for 2 days. She served his meals, stayed silent when he spoke, made herself invisible. She watched him move through the house like he owned everything in it, including her. She saw how he expected her to jump at his smallest request, how his voice carried that edge of threat, even when he was asking for something simple. On the 3rd evening, Spencer came home angry about something that had happened at work. Luna had dinner ready, but he barely looked at it. He paced the living room, his frustration building. Then he turned to her and found something to criticize. The food was too cold. She had not asked about his day. Something, anything. His hand rose. Luna had been waiting for this moment. She caught his wrist mid-air, her grip strong from years of training. Before Spencer could process what was happening, she swept his legs out from under him. He crashed to the floor. And Luna did not stop there. Every punch Spencer had thrown at her sister, Luna repaid. Every shove, every slap, every moment of fear. Her judo training made it easy. Her jiu-jitsu skills made it effortless. Spencer tried to fight back, but he was no match. He had only ever fought someone who could not fight back. When Luna finally stopped, Spencer lay on the floor, bruised and gasping. He stared up at his wife with complete terror in his eyes. Luna stood over him, breathing steady, and walked out of the room. When Lola found out that her sister beat her husband, she called her sister crying. Not tears of relief, but tears of anger and shame. Luna had promised to only talk. Now Spencer was bruised and confused, and Lola did not know how to face him. Luna told Lola to stay at their parents' house a few more days, that she would fix things, that she would make it possible for Lola to return home. Lola agreed because the damage was already done. Luna went back to the house the next morning. Spencer was sitting in the living room with an ice pack pressed to his ribs. When he heard footsteps, his entire body tensed. The fear in his eyes was immediate and obvious. Over the next few days, Spencer moved through the house like a guest who did not want to disturb anyone. He came home early from work. He watched Luna constantly, trying to understand what had changed in his wife overnight. Luna used his fear to move freely through rooms he used to keep locked. On the third day, she found his phone. The messages opened up like a wound. There was a woman named Chidera. The texts went back 2 years. There were hotel receipts, weekend trips Spencer had told Lola were business conferences. There were emails to a lawyer discussing divorce plans. He wanted to wait until after Lola's father helped him secure a major business deal, then he would leave. Luna took photos of everything and drove to her parents' house. She handed Lola the phone without saying a word. Lola looked at the first photo and her face went pale. She scrolled through the rest in silence. Luna watched her sister's world collapse in real time. Every text message was a knife. Every photo was proof that the man she had defended, the man she had suffered for, the man she loved, had never loved her back. When Lola finally looked up, her face was broken but not empty. Even now, even after seeing everything, part of her still wanted to believe there was an explanation. Love did not die quickly, even when it should. Luna held her sister while she cried. She told her the truth she needed to hear. Spencer was not worth saving. He had never been worth it. But Lola's heart was stubborn. Despite everything, she still loved him. 2 weeks later, Lola went to the hospital for a routine checkup. She had been feeling tired, nauseous. She thought it was stress from everything happening with Spencer. The doctor ran tests and came back with news that changed everything. She was 8 weeks pregnant. Lola sat in the examination room with her hand on her stomach. She still loved Spencer. That had not changed. But this child growing inside her deserved better than a father who hit, who controlled, who planned to abandon them both. The love she had poured into her marriage would not disappear. It would just change direction. She would give it all to this baby instead. She made her choice in that quiet room. She would leave, but she would not tell Spencer about the pregnancy. He would never know about this child. When she told Luna her decision, her sister promised to help. Luna made arrangements within weeks. Lola would move to Houston with her and start over. The divorce papers were filed quietly. Spencer, still confused and afraid of what his wife had become, signed without much fight. 3 months after Lola left Nigeria, Spencer discovered the truth about Chidera. She had been using him all along. The money, the gifts, the trips, it had all been going to her real boyfriend. Spencer tried to reach out to Lola then. The calls came daily. Text messages filled with apologies and regrets. He had made a mistake. He wanted her back. He would change. Lola saw his name flash on her phone screen and felt nothing but pity. She blocked his number and did not look back. In Houston, her stomach was beginning to show. Luna had set up a nursery in the spare room. Lola stood in front of the mirror one evening, her hand resting on the small curve of her belly, and felt something she had not felt in years. Peace. The love she had wasted on Spencer was finding a new home. This child would grow up knowing only kindness. This child would never see their mother flinch or hide bruises or move quietly through rooms out of fear. Lola had escaped her prison. And though part of her heart still carried the ghost of what she had felt for Spencer, she had learned something more important. Sometimes, the bravest thing you can do is walk away.
Je te donne ce bébé à une seule condition.
Vous ne devez pas baigner cet enfant pendant 15 ans. Si vous le faites, quelque chose de terrible se produira. Mais si vous ne le faites pas, l'enfant deviendra le vôtre pour toujours. Je ne la baignerai jamais, je le promets, je le promets. Merci, merci. C'est ce qu'Aduc avait répondu d'une voix tremblante, les yeux remplis de larmes de joie. Elle serrait contre elle le petit être chaud enveloppé de feuilles vertes, le cœur battant à tout rompre. Elle venait de recevoir le plus beau cadeau de sa vie. Mais à quel prix? À mesure que l'enfant grandissait, les problèmes grandissaient avec elle. Au début, tout semblait normal. Le bébé souriait, gazouillait et s'accrochait à sa mère avec une tendresse qui faisait fondre le cœur d'Aduc. Mais dès que la petite fille commença à marcher et à jouer dehors, les autres enfants de son âge se mirent à s'enfuir d'elle. Ils la regardaient avec crainte et dégoût, comme si elle portait une maladie contagieuse. Personne ne voulait s'approcher d'elle, personne ne voulait jouer avec elle. La solitude s'installa très tôt dans la vie de la fillette, sans qu'elle comprenne pourquoi. Les villageois se couvraient le nez chaque fois qu'elle passait près d'eux. L'odeur qui émanait de son corps était devenue forte, âcre, presque insupportable. Ils se moquaient ouvertement d'elle parce qu'elle n'avait pas pris de bain depuis sa naissance. « Regardez la petite sauvage !» lançait-il en riant. « Elle sent la pourriture !» Chaque fois qu'elle rentrait à la maison en pleurant, le cœur brisé, elle suppliait sa mère de la baigner. « Maman, s'il te plaît, juste une fois, je veux sentir bon comme les autres enfants. » Aduc la ferrait fort dans ses bras, la berçait tendrement et lui mentait avec une douleur douloureuse. Elle disait que ce n'était pas normal pour un humain de se baigner, que les personnes qu'elle voyait se baigner mourraient rapidement, emportées par une maladie mystérieuse. Mais si elle ne se baignait pas, elle vivrait très longtemps, forte et protégée. Aduc lui mentait aussi qu'en lui disant qu'elle-même n'avait jamais pris de bain depuis sa naissance. « Regarde-moi, ma fille, je suis en bonne santé, n'est-ce pas ?» Pourtant, la vérité était bien différente. Chaque fois qu'Aduc voulait se baigner, elle attendait que sa fille soit profondément endormie ou occupée ailleurs. Elle se cachait derrière la hutte ou dans un coin isolé de la brousse, versait rapidement de l'eau sur son corps et se savonnait en silence, le cœur lourd de culpabilité. Elle vivait dans la peur constante que sa fille découvre son secret. Tout continua ainsi pendant des années, dans un équilibre fragile de mensonges et d'amour, jusqu'au jour où tout changea radicalement. Une nuit, alors que la lune brillait faiblement à travers les feuilles des arbres, la jeune fille se réveilla en entendant un bruit d'eau. Curieuse, elle se leva sans faire de bruit et suivit le son. Cachée derrière un buisson, elle vit sa mère en train de se baigner en secret. L'eau coulait sur le corps d'Aduc, qui semblait soulagé et détendu. Le cœur de la fillette se brisa en 1000 morceaux. Les mensonges, la honte, la douleur, tout lui tomba dessus. Elle se sentit trahie, humiliée et profondément confuse. Le lendemain matin, sans rien dire à personne, elle prit du savon et une éponge qu'elle avait cachée. Le visage déterminé, elle s'enfonça profondément dans la forêt, loin des regards. Elle voulait enfin comprendre par elle-même. Pendant ce temps, Aduc était assise seule dans la forêt en train de pleurer amèrement. Pourquoi la vie était-elle si cruelle avec elle? Elle avait épousé 5 maris successifs. Chaque fois, l'espoir d'avoir un enfant grandissait, puis s'évanouissait. Aucun bébé ne venait. Chaque mari, déçu et en colère, finissait par la renvoyer, la couvrant de honte. Les villageois se moquaient impitoyablement d'elle. Ils l'appelaient la femme stérile, la sorcière ou celle que les anciens ont maudit. La honte l'avait complètement brisée. N'ayant plus nulle part où aller, Aduc avait choisi l'exil dans la forêt profonde. Ce jour-là, pendant qu'elle ramassait du bois pour construire une petite hutte rudimentaire, elle emballa sans le savoir un étrange bâton tordu et noueux appelé Kudaku. Ce bâton n'était pas ordinaire, c'était un esprit ancien de la forêt, endormi depuis longtemps. Elle le ramassa avec les autres branches, sans douter de rien. Cette nuit-là, à l'intérieur de la petite hutte qu'elle avait construite tant bien que mal, Aduk s'effondra en larmes. « Mon Dieu, même un seul enfant, juste un, je n'en demande pas plus. Pourquoi m'as-tu abandonnée » sanglotait-elle, le visage enfoui dans ses mains. Elle ne savait pas que quelque chose de terrible l'écoutait dans l'obscurité. Le bâton Kudaku avait entendu chaque mot de sa prière désespérée. Le lendemain matin, lorsqu'Aduk sortit de sa hutte en se retrant les yeux, elle se figea sur place. Juste devant elle se tenait un étrange arbre qui n'était pas là la veille. L'arbre semblait frais, vibrant, presque vivant, comme s'il respirait. Sur une de ses branches basses pendait quelque chose d'incroyable, un bébé. Un petit bébé soigneusement enveloppé de feuilles vertes tendres, comme un cadeau de la nature elle-même. Le cœur d'Aduk s'arrêta presque de battre. Les jambes tremblantes, elle s'approcha lentement. Le bébé était vivant, il respirait doucement, paisiblement, les petits poings fermés. Soudain, l'arbre commença à trembler violemment devant ses yeux. Les feuilles frémissaient comme sous l'effet d'un vent invisible. Puis, quelque chose d'incroyable se produisit. Une vieille femme sortit lentement de l'intérieur du tronc. Son corps était mince et sec, presque comme du bois ancien. Sa peau ressemblait à de l'écorce ridée, elle semblait faire partie intégrante de la forêt elle-même. Aduk tremblait de peur, incapable de bouger. La vieille femme parla d'une voix sèche et profonde qui résonna comme un écho ancien. « Je m'appelle Kuduku. J'ai entendu ton cri de désespoir la nuit dernière. Tu as demandé à Dieu un enfant. Je vais te donner cet enfant, mais à une seule condition. » Aduk avala difficilement sa salive, la gorge serrée. La vieille femme continua « Tu ne dois pas baigner cet enfant pendant 15 ans, pas une seule fois. Si tu obéis et qu'après 15 ans tu ne l'as toujours pas baignée, elle sera à toi pour toujours. Elle grandira en bonne santé et deviendra puissante. Mais si tu la baignes avant que les 15 ans ne soient écoulés, une chose très terrible se produira. » La forêt devint soudain silencieuse, comme si tous les animaux retenaient leur souffle. Aduk n'hésita pas 2 fois. Une joie immense, profonde comme elle n'en avait jamais connue, envahit son cœur. Enfin, elle allait être mère. Mais cette joie était accompagnée d'une peur sourde qui s'installait dans sa poitrine. « J'obéirai », dit-elle rapidement, la voix pleine d'émotion. Elle se précipita et prit délicatement le bébé dans ses bras. Le petit corps était chaud et doux contre sa peau, mais lorsqu'elle se tourna pour demander à la vieille femme quelle était exactement cette chose terrible qui arriverait en cas de désobéissance, la vieille femme avait déjà disparu, comme si rien n'était jamais sorti de l'arbre. Aduk resta là longtemps, choqué, les yeux écarquillés. Pourtant, son bonheur était plus fort que sa peur. Elle avait enfin un enfant, un miracle. Aduk retourna au village avec le bébé, le cœur léger malgré l'inquiétude. Elle se concentra entièrement sur les soins à apporter à sa fille. Elle ne permettait pas une seule goutte d'eau de toucher le corps de l'enfant. Les jours se transformèrent en mois, les mois en années. Le bébé grandit et devint une jeune fille belle. Aduk la nomma Abissed. Mais au plus profond de son cœur, l'avertissement de l'esprit résonnait encore chaque jour. 15 ans. Pas une seule fois, où quelque chose de terrible se produira. Et maintenant, parce que Abissed n'avait jamais pris de bain pendant toutes ces années, son corps dégageait une odeur très forte et désagréable. Chaque fois qu'elle marchait dans le village, les gens se couvraient rapidement le nez. Certains détournaient leur visage avec dégoût, autres murmuraient des insultes, d'autres encore riaient ouvertement. Les enfants de son âge étaient les plus cruels. « Fille sale !» criait-il. « Pourquoi ne te baignes-tu pas? Tu sens comme un animal mort. » Il s'enfuyait d'elle en se tenant le nez et en riant aux éclats. Abissed faisait semblant d'être forte. Elle relevait la tête et continuait son chemin. Mais quand elle rentrait à la maison, elle s'effondrait en larmes dans les bras de sa mère. Maman, pourquoi je ne peux pas me baigner comme les autres enfants? Pourquoi je suis différente? Est-ce que je suis maudite? Demandait-elle, la voix brisée. Le cœur d'Aduc tremblait de douleur, mais elle cachait sa peur derrière un visage calme.
Tu ne dois pas être en l'exemple, mentait Aduc en la serrant fort. C'est un tabou pour les humains de se baigner. Si tu te baignes, tu mourras très vite, emporté par les esprits maléfiques. Mais si tu ne te baignes pas, tu vivras longtemps, en bonne santé et protégé. Ces mots plantaient chaque fois une graine de peur dans le cœur d'Abissed. Puis Aduc ajoutait avec conviction: « M'as-tu déjà vu me baigner? Depuis ma naissance, je n'ai jamais pris de bain. Regarde comme je suis en forme. » Pendant ce temps, Aduc continuait à se baigner en secret, loin des yeux de sa fille, rongée par la culpabilité. Chaque jour, la honte devenait plus lourde pour Abissed. Les moqueries des villageois s'intensifiaient. Pourtant, elle essayait d'endurer en silence. Lentement, une curiosité dangereuse grandit dans son cœur. Que se passerait-il vraiment si je me baignais? Est-ce que je mourrais vraiment? Lorsqu'Abissed atteignit 14 ans, un pouvoir très puissant et mystérieux entra en elle. Ce n'était pas un pouvoir ordinaire. À partir de ce jour, elle pouvait faire des choses que personne d'autre au village ne pouvait accomplir. Son don se manifesta progressivement, surprenant tout le monde. Un jour, un homme du village tomba gravement malade. Son corps était faible, sa peau brûlante de fièvre. Sa famille l'avait emmené chez différents guérisseurs traditionnels. Ils avaient essayé toutes sortes de racines, d'écorces et de mélanges, mais rien ne fonctionnait. L'homme était presque mourant. Alors l'esprit qui habitait Abissed lui murmura d'aller rendre visite à la hutte de cet homme. Certaines personnes rirent quand elles la virent arriver. « Voilà la fille qui sent mauvais », disait-elle en se couvrant le nez. Abissed ne répondit pas. Elle marcha calmement jusqu'à un petit buisson près de la maison, cueillit une feuille ordinaire, la même que la femme de l'homme utilisait tous les jours pour cuisiner la soupe, une feuille que tout le monde considérait comme banale. Elle la pressa soigneusement, recueillit le jus dans un petit récipient et le donna à boire à l'homme malade. En quelques instants seulement, l'homme s'assit, sa force revint, sa respiration redevint normale. Il était guéri. Les villageois furent stupéfaits. Comment une simple feuille de cuisine avait-elle pu guérir en mourant? À partir de ce jour, un mélange de peur et de respect commença à grandir envers Abissed. Un autre jour, un fermier était perdu sur sa terre. Il se parlait à lui-même. « Dois-je planter de l'igname ou du maïs cette saison ?» Abissed passa près de lui, cueillit une feuille, la frotta doucement sur son visage, ses yeux changèrent instantanément. Elle voyait désormais l'avenir. Elle regarda le sol et dit calmement « Plante du manioc ». L'homme obéit. 1 an plus tard, il devint très riche grâce à une excellente récolte de manioc qui se vendait à prix d'or au marché. Les gens commencèrent à parler. « Abissed n'est pas ordinaire, elle a un grand pouvoir ». Certains villageois la respectaient désormais. Mais d'autres continuaient à se moquer d'elle à cause de l'odeur. Ils se couvraient encore le nez, murmuraient et riaient. Pourtant, dès qu'ils avaient un problème ou une confusion, ils couraient tous vers elle. La même fille qu'ils humiliaient était maintenant leur seul espoir. Parmi tous ceux qui se moquaient d'Abissed, une fille était différente. Son nom était Lola. Elle était un peu plus âgée qu'Abissed. Quand ses amis insultaient Abissed, Lola ne participait pas. Elle observait en silence, admirait secrètement son pouvoir. Elle voulait être comme elle, respectée, admirée, crainte même. Mais elle ne voulait pas la partie sale, elle ne voulait surtout pas cette horrible odeur. Un jour, Lola alla voir sa mère, une puissante sorcière qui connaissait tous les secrets de la forêt et des esprits. « Maman, je veux être comme Abissed, je veux faire de la magie, je veux que les gens parlent de mon pouvoir dans tout le village. » Sa mère la regarda longuement et répondit sérieusement. « Ce n'est pas possible, ma fille. Abissed n'est pas ordinaire. La raison pour laquelle elle peut accomplir ces miracles, c'est parce qu'elle n'a jamais pris de bain depuis sa naissance. Le jour où elle se baignera, son pouvoir sera complètement détruit. » Les yeux de Lola s'égrandirent de surprise. Sa mère continua. « C'est son secret le plus profond. » À partir de ce jour, Lola prit une décision. Elle commença à se rapprocher d'Abissed et devint son amie. Au début, leur amitié était belle et paisible. Elles riaient ensemble, partageaient des moments complices. Lola faisait prétendre de ne pas entendre les moqueries des autres. Mais à mesure que le pouvoir d'Abissed grandissait et que tout le village parlait de ses miracles, la jalousie s'installa profondément dans le cœur de Lola. Partout, on n'entendait plus que le nom d'Abissed.
Abissed a guéri Antel, Abissed a vu l'avenir, Abissed a sauvé la récolte. La jalousie devint insupportable. Lola voulait détruire ce pouvoir. Un jour, elle parla doucement à Abissed. « Pourquoi ne te baignes-tu pas simplement? Tu sens mauvais. Tu devrais te baigner, ça te ferait du bien. » Abissed succuta le tête. « Je ne peux pas. Si je me baigne, je mourrai. C'est ce que ma mère m'a toujours dit. Même elle ne se baigne pas. » Lola répondit rapidement. « C'est un mensonge. Ta mère se baigne en secret. Si elle ne le faisait pas, elle sentirait exactement comme toi. » Abissed se sentit mal à l'aise. Le doute s'installa pour la première fois dans son esprit. Après cette conversation, Lola devint plus insistante. Elle surveilla Aduc en secret pendant plusieurs jours. Une nuit, elle vit Aduc sortir avec un seau d'eau, regarder autour d'elle avec prudence et s'enfoncer dans la brousse pour se baigner. Le lendemain, Lola raconta tout à Abissed et lui proposa de venir voir par elle-même. Cette nuit-là, Abissed suivit Lola et vit sa mère se baigner de ses propres yeux. La trahison fut immense. Colère, douleur, humiliation, toutes ces années de moquerie et de souffrance lui semblèrent inutiles. Le lendemain, le cœur rempli de rage, Abissed prit une éponge et du savon, elle marcha profondément dans la forêt, loin de tous les regards. « Si ma mère peut se baigner sans qu'il ne lui arrive rien, alors rien ne m'arrivera non plus, » pensa-t-elle. Elle puisa de l'eau dans un petit ruisseau. Ses mains tremblaient. Elle versa lentement de l'eau sur son corps et commença à se savonner. Au moment où l'eau toucha pleinement sa peau, le ciel s'assombrit brutalement. Un vent violent se leva. La forêt devint sombre. Un bruit étrange et terrifiant résonna entre les arbres. Abissed se figea soudainement. Son corps devint raide, comme du bois. Elle ne pouvait plus bouger ni ses mains ni ses jambes. Un puissant courant d'air sortit de son corps et traversa la forêt à toute vitesse jusqu'au village, droit vers Aduc. Aduc poussa un cri terrible et se mit à courir sans contrôle jusque dans la forêt profonde. Là, elle trouva sa fille transformée en arbre immobile et raide. Elle tomba à genoux en pleurant. Soudain, l'esprit Koudoukou réapparut, le visage plein de colère. « Tu as désobéi, je t'avais prévenu !» Aduc supplia pour sa fille. Après de longues négociations, l'esprit accepta une punition. Aduc devait rester 6 mois dans la forêt, prendre soin de l'arbre qui était devenu sa fille avec tout l'amour d'une mère. Si elle le faisait avec sincérité, Abissed reviendrait à la vie. Aduc accepta sans hésiter. Pendant 6 longs mois, elle nettoya l'arbre chaque jour, lui parlait comme à son enfant, le protégea des animaux et des intempéries, dormant à ses côtés. Elle endura la solitude et les regrets sans jamais se plaindre. À la fin des 6 mois, l'arbre trembla. Une lumière brillante l'entoura. Abissed revint soudainement à la vie. Elle était libre, propre et son pouvoir était revenu, plus fort que jamais. La malédiction était brisée. Elles retournèrent au village. Abissed pouvait désormais se baigner librement. Elle sentait bon et rayonnait de beauté. Les villageois furent stupéfaits. La fille qu'ils avaient moquée pendant des années était maintenant propre, puissante et respectée. Ils commencèrent à l'aimer et à la vénérer. Quand Abissed raconta à sa mère que c'était Lola qui l'avait poussée à se baigner, Aduc lui mit sévèrement en garde de ne plus jamais s'approcher d'elle. Abissed obéit. Lola se sentit humiliée et jalouse. Quelque temps plus tard, le roi du village souffrait d'insomnie depuis plusieurs mois. Aucun remède ne fonctionnait. Il fit appeler Abissed. Elle écouta attentivement, cueillit une feuille spéciale, la prépara et lui donna à boire. Le roi dormit paisiblement cette nuit-là et se réveilla guéri et plein d'énergie. Récompensant, et n'ayant pas de fille, il décida de faire d'Abissed une princesse royale. Il l'installa dans le palais avec sa mère et la traita comme sa propre enfant. Abissed n'était plus la fille sale, moquée par tous. Elle était désormais une princesse respectée et aimée. Son parcours de douleur s'était transformé en un parcours d'honneur et de gloire. La morale de cette histoire est simple. Ne laissez jamais la jalousie, la pression des autres ou la honte temporaire vous pousser à détruire votre destin. Abissed a été moquée pendant des années, mais son obéissance a préservé son pouvoir. Le doute a failli tout lui enlever. Ce dont les gens rient aujourd'hui peut être la même chose qui te rendra grand demain. Sois patient, sois sage et ne troque jamais ton avenir contre l'approbation des autres.
Dites-nous en commentaire, quel personnage vous a le plus touché? La mère désespérée, la fille courageuse ou l'amie jalouse?
Avez-vous déjà vécu une situation où votre plus grand défaut aux yeux des autres est devenu votre plus grande force? Écrivez destin en commentaire si vous avez décidé dès aujourd'hui de ne plus laisser la jalousie des autres éteindre votre lumière.
Please, do not shave my hair. I'm innocent. I don't even know the man. Don't worry, my dear. By the time we finish shaving your hair, you will be like the rest of us, bald.
In a village where no woman could grow hair, one girl was born with long hair. They hated her for it, not knowing she was their only hope. Once upon a time, there lived a village known as the Bald Village. At first glance, the village looked ordinary. Mud houses stood in neat rows. Narrow footpaths connected homes to farms and streams. Children ran barefoot, chasing one another in the dust. Elders sat under the old Iroko tree every evening, sharing stories of the past, but there was something strange about the Bald Village. Every woman there was bald. From the day a female child was born, no hair ever grew on her head. Not as a baby. Not as a child. Not as a grown woman. Generation after generation. The women of the village remained bald. It had been that way for so long that no one questioned it anymore. Baldness was their identity. Baldness was their fate. Then one day, fate broke its own rule. Her name was Zara. The day Zara was born, fear entered the village. The midwives screamed when they saw her. One of them nearly dropped the baby. Tiny strands of black hair covered the child's head, thick and full, shining under the lantern light. It was something none of them had ever seen before. Before anyone could ask questions or seek answers, tragedy struck. Zara's mother died immediately after giving birth. Her body grew cold while the baby cried loudly beside her. Confusion filled the hut. Morning came quickly. Barely a month later, Zara's father fell ill. No herbs worked. No prayers helped. He grew weaker by the day until death finally took him as well. By the time Zara was old enough to recognize faces, she had already lost both parents. According to tradition, she was sent to live with her closest relative, her aunt Mama Vero. Mama Vero accepted her, but not with love. Mama Vero had a daughter of her own named Vero, a girl who was bald like every other female in the village. From the very first day Zara entered the hut, Mama Vero felt a sharp pain in her heart. The child she took in had something her own daughter would never have, hair. As Zara grew, her hair grew with her. It became long, thick, and shiny. It fell down her back like a royal cloth. Whenever she walked, people turned to look. Whenever she bent her head, sunlight danced on her hair. The women of the village noticed. Some admired her openly. "Zara, your hair is beautiful," they would say. "Your hair looks like a blessing." Others admired her quietly, smiling while sadness sat heavy in their hearts, but some did not admire her at all. Mama Vero watched Zara closely every day. Each time she saw Zara combing her hair by the fire, something bitter stirred inside her. Her own daughter often sat nearby, watching silently, her smooth head shining. Comparison filled that hut, and comparison turned into hatred. Despite everything, Zara remained gentle. She helped with chores. She fetched water from the stream. She greeted elders politely. She never spoke back, even when Mama Vero treated her badly. The villagers could not help but like her. Then came the day that changed everything. The oracle called the village together. Everyone gathered at the sacred grove. Drums stopped beating. Conversations ended. The oracle stepped forward, leaning on her carved staff. Though her eyes were clouded with age, her voice was strong. "The curse will end," the oracle said. The people gasped. "The one who carries what was taken shall rise," she continued. "She shall become queen. She shall marry the prince of the kingdom. Through her purity, the curse shall be broken." Fear and excitement filled the air. "The girl with hair," the oracle said clearly. "She is the chosen one." All eyes turned to Zara, her legs shook. Her heart raced. Mama Vero froze. The elders reminded the people of the curse that had placed the village in this condition. Many years ago, a woman lost her husband. Instead of helping her, the villagers accused her of killing him. They dragged her to the village square, shaved her hair, beat her, and humiliated her. They banished her from the village. As she left in tears, she turned back and cursed them. "You have taken my dignity," she cried.
"I curse you today. You will become bald from generations after generations."
And so it happened. Now Zara stood as hope, but hope can also be a threat. Every praise Zara received made Mama Vero angrier. Each time people spoke of the future queen, jealousy burned deeper inside her. She knew one thing: if Zara lost her purity, she would lose everything. That was when Mama Vero made her decision. One evening, Zara returned from the stream. She was tired and thirsty. Mama Vero handed her a drink, smiling sweetly. "Drink this," she said. "You must be exhausted." Zara drank, her vision blurred, her body grew heavy, she collapsed into darkness. And that night, Zara's destiny began to fall apart. Zara woke up suddenly to loud shouting. At first, the voices confused her. Her head felt heavy, her eyes burned, and her body felt weak, as if strength had been drained from her. She tried to sit up, but before she could understand what was happening, a sharp pain hit her shoulder. A stone. Another followed, striking her leg. Zara screamed. She opened her eyes fully and realized she was surrounded. Men, women, children. They stood in a tight circle around her, shouting loudly, their voices filled with anger and disgust. "Abomination. Immoral girl. She has brought shame upon us." Zara pushed herself up slightly, fear filling her heart. "What is happening?" she cried. "Why are you shouting at me?" No one answered her. Another stone hit her back. Someone else spat near her feet. Zara looked around wildly, confused and terrified. She had gone to the stream earlier. She had returned home tired. Her aunt had given her a drink. That was the last thing she remembered. She looked down. Her clothes were still on her body. She was not naked. She was not touching anyone. Yet the people shouted as if she had committed a terrible crime. "I did nothing." Zara cried loudly. "I swear by my life, I did nothing wrong." But the crowd did not want to hear her voice. "She was found with a man." Someone shouted. "She is not pure." Another screamed. Zara shook her head desperately. "I do not know any man," she cried. "I was alone. I only drank water and slept." Her words were drowned by noise. As the shouting continued, Mama Vero and her daughter, Vero, returned from the farm, carrying baskets on their heads. They stopped when they saw the crowd gathered around their hut. Mama Vero dropped her basket and rushed forward. "What is happening here?" she asked loudly. The villagers quickly explained. They spoke fast and angrily. They told her that a man had been seen lying beside Zara. They said Zara was found unconscious. They said she had disgraced the village. They said the future queen had broken the law of purity. Mama Vero did not ask questions. She did not look at Zara closely. She did not pause to think. She believed them immediately. Mama Vero shook her head slowly, pretending to be shocked. "Ah," she said, clicking her tongue. "This is terrible. Very terrible." Zara crawled toward her aunt, tears streaming down her face. "Auntie, please," she cried. "I did not do this. I drank the water you gave me and slept. I do not know anything else." Mama Vero pulled her wrapper tighter and stepped back. "If you are innocent," she said coldly, "why would a man be found beside you?" Zara shook her head violently. "I do not know him," she cried. "I swear I do not know him." Mama Vero turned to the crowd. "This is shameful," she said. "If she has truly done this, then she has stained all of us." The villagers murmured loudly in agreement. Mama Vero's eyes darkened. "There is only one punishment for this," she continued. "Her hair must be shaved." The crowd erupted. "Yes, shave her hair, let her be like the rest of us." Zara froze. Her heart stopped. She raised her hands to her head, shaking. "No," she screamed. "Please, do not shave my hair. I did not do this. Please." Mama Vero did not hesitate. She stepped forward, grabbed Zara roughly by the arm, and pulled her to the ground. Another woman joined her. Zara struggled, screaming and crying, but they were stronger. "Auntie, please," Zara cried. "Have mercy on me." Mama Vero ignored her. She held Zara's head firmly while the other woman brought out a sharp blade. Zara felt the cold metal touch her scalp. She screamed. She begged. She cried until her voice cracked. "Please, I am innocent," she cried. "Please." But they did not listen. Mama Vero pressed her down harder. The blade moved. Strands of Zara's long hair fell to the ground. With each stroke, Zara felt something tear inside her. Her heart broke with every cut. Tears ran freely down her face as her hair dropped in heavy clumps onto the dusty ground. The crowd watched. Some shouted in approval, some turned away, some watched silently, their faces unreadable. When it was finally over, Zara's head was bare, her scalp burned, her body shook, she collapsed on the ground, sobbing uncontrollably. Mima Vero stood up slowly, breathing heavily. Inside her heart, satisfaction filled her like warm fire. It is done, she told herself. Let us see how a bald girl will become queen. The crowd soon dispersed. By morning, the village had moved on. Zara was no longer greeted. No one praised her anymore. Children pointed at her and whispered. Women avoided her path. Men looked at her with judgment. She stayed inside the hut. She stopped singing. She stopped smiling. She stopped dreaming. At night, she cried silently, holding her bald head and asking the ancestors why they had abandoned her. Days passed. Weeks passed. Then something unexpected happened. One morning, Zara touched her head absent-mindedly and felt something strange. Something rough. She touched again. Tiny strands of hair, she gasped. The next day, there were more. Within weeks, her hair was clearly growing again. The village noticed. Whispers spread like wildfire. How is her hair growing? She was shaved for immorality. She should be bald forever. What Mama Vero did not know was an ancient truth, one that existed even before the curse. In the bald village, when a woman's hair was shaved falsely for immorality, her hair would begin to grow again within weeks. Only a truly guilty woman would remain bald forever. Fear entered Mama Vero's heart. She stopped sleeping well. She avoided people's eyes. She knew the truth was catching up with her. And it did. The king heard everything. Soon, guards arrived. Mama Vero, her daughter, and the women involved were summoned to the palace. The king's anger shook the hall. Then the man who was paid to lie beside Zara was brought forward. He confessed. Mama Vero fell to her knees. The truth was exposed. Zara was cleared. Justice was served. And as Zara prepared to marry the prince, Mama Vero and her daughter worked under the sun, carrying water and firewood for the wedding they tried to stop. As Zara stood in royal cloth, her hair flowing once again. On the wedding day, drums filled the air. Zara stood beside the prince, radiant and calm. As the drums sounded, the procession began. Zara walked gracefully, her head held high, her steps firm and proud. The villagers watched in silence, a mixture of awe and shame in their eyes. When she reached the throne, the prince took her hand. Together, they knelt before the king, who blessed the union and declared that Zara was now the rightful queen, the one destined to lift the curse of baldness. At that moment, something remarkable happened. Women across the village began to notice tiny strands of hair sprouting on their heads. At first, it was only a whisper, but within hours, the growth was undeniable. Baldness, the ancient curse that had haunted them for generations, began to disappear. The people gasped in wonder. Her hair. Her innocence. It healed us all, someone whispered. And indeed, the prophecy had been fulfilled. Zara, pure and unbroken, had broken the curse simply by the being herself. Meanwhile, Mama Vero and Vero could only watch in disbelief. Their hands, rough and calloused from labor, trembled as they carried buckets of water and firewood. They wanted to hide, to vanish, but the palace doors were closed, and their tasks demanded their presence. Every time Zara smiled or laughed with the prince, Mama Vero felt a stab of regret that she could not escape. She had tried to destroy Zara. And yet, Zara had risen above it all. The celebration continued late into the evening. Music, laughter, and singing filled the palace and spilled into the village. For the first time in decades, the bald village knew joy. Mothers hugged their daughters and felt the soft hair growing on their heads. Girls ran through the streets, laughing and tossing their hair, discovering a part of themselves that had been denied for generations. Zara, now a queen, did not celebrate alone. She looked upon her people with compassion. She did not hold anger in her heart for those who had wronged her. Instead, she felt pity for those blinded by jealousy and fear. She knew that punishment had already touched them. Mama Vero and Vero had already been humbled. Made to serve, and that was part of the justice of the moment. For Mama Vero, this was a bitter lesson learned too late. She had sought to destroy the girl she considered an enemy, only to realize that innocence and truth could not be defeated by lies. For Vero, it was a lesson in humility. She had grown up believing her mother's bitterness was justified. Now she understood the consequences of envy and wrongdoing. Zara never sought revenge. She ruled with wisdom, kindness, and patience. The prince was always at her side, helping her guide the village into a future filled with hope. Together, they taught the people that cruelty and jealousy could destroy, but courage, innocence, and truth could heal even the deepest wounds. Years later, stories of Zara and her long hair became legend. Mothers would tell their daughters about the girl who was hated, who was betrayed, but who rose to save them all. Be like Zara, they would say. Strong, pure, and brave. Even when the world turns against you, truth and goodness will always grow back, just like her hair. And so the bald village became a place where women could grow hair, where children could play freely, and where jealousy and hatred were remembered only as lessons of the past. Zara's name lived on, not as a girl who suffered, but as a queen who healed a village, who forgave when she could have hated, and who proved that innocence and truth were stronger than the darkest curses. The prince and Zara ruled for many years. Together, they guided the village through joy and prosperity. The people never forgot how one girl's courage and purity had broken a curse that had lasted for generations. And Mama Vero and Vero? They learned the hardest lesson of all. Envy destroys not only the one it targets, but also the one who harbors it. Zara stood on the palace balcony one evening, watching the sun set over the village. Her hair flowed in the wind, her heart full of peace. She had been hated, betrayed, and wronged, but she had also triumphed. She had survived, she had saved the village, and she had become the queen she was always meant to be. And for the first time in the village's long history, there was no curse left to fear. The village was free, and Zara, the girl who had been hated for her long hair, had finally found her place, shining brighter than anyone could have imagined.